Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, going to do a quick company overview on Wish. So just kind of hit on a few things that you should definitely know before you make any investment and just some kind of key due diligence items to look at. This is a very common practice done in investment banking. We throw together a lot of company profiles and send them around to clients, and it's just a good way to get a quick recap of a company. So um, first thing here, we'll start in the top left quadrant, the key stats of the company. So stock price as of 3/16, it was trading at 18.22. Market cap about $12 billion. They were founded in 2010, headquartered in San Francisco. The founder, CEO, Peter Solwitsky, he's founder, still the CEO even after IPO, he's still there. Um, the other founder, who was previously the CTO, Daniel Wong, I believe was his name, is actually no longer with the company. Not sure exactly what happened there, but maybe there was a falling out at some point, which is pretty common. And then just some key high-level statistics here to look at. So revenue, you can see revenue's been growing at a healthy clip, 1.1, 1.7, 1.9, and 2.5. And then net income has actually been staying negative, so right around 100 million ish for 17 through 19, and then 2020 jumps up to 600 billion. Of that 600 billion, if you actually look through their most recent filing, 400 million of that is stock-based comp, probably mostly due to the IPO actually. So that should normalize back out, so you'd be back close to negative. So it looks like currently their expenses, are growing pretty rapidly along with their revenue, so they're still maintaining unprofitability. Stock-based comp goes away, cut some costs, revenue grows a little bit more, you may be profitable in the next couple of years. The next section here in that bottom left is recent news. And so this is always just interesting. If you go to their investor relations page, you can pull up recent news of companies and kind of look at the press release. So I guess the first big thing here, right, March 8th, reported fourth quarter and full year 2020 financial results. The full 10K isn't up yet, but you can go to the SEC website and you can pull an 8K, which has kind of summary info from the financials. And then on their website, they do have a investor presentation up that has a little bit of detail there as well. Back in December of 2020, they announced Jacqueline Reese to the board of directors, and she was previously the executive chairman of Square Financial and a capital lead at Square. So this is interesting, something I noted kind of reading through, and I'll talk about it more in the growth drivers and also in a couple bullet points here. The next thing, right, they announced their public offering at 24 a share back in December, so they're actually trading below their IPO value by 25% currently. And then back in October, they announced Stephanie Tillenes and Julie M.B. Bradley to the board of directors. Stephanie was or is CEO of Vita Health, and previously she was the vice president of global commerce and payments at Google. And then Julie, she was the CFO of TripAdvisor, and then the CFO of Art Technology prior to that. So another thing interesting here is Stephanie, when she was the VP of Global Commerce and Payments at Google. So also another payments kind of specialist, I would say. So two of their board members have extensive experience in the payment industry, which is, I think, kind of key for Wish, and we'll talk about it in the growth drivers in a minute. Overview of the business, I'm guessing you're familiar, but it's one of the largest and fastest growing global e-commerce platforms, 100 million active users. Of those 100 million, about 13 million are active buyers on a monthly basis. They operate in 100 countries and they have 500,000 merchants. I think it's actually 550,000 now based off their most recent press release. And it's been the most downloaded global shopping app for the last 3 years. So it's definitely kind of on the trending upwards and competing with, like the eBays and the Craigslist of the world. And the LA Lakers are sponsored by Wish, so on their jerseys you'll see the Wish logo. And something really interesting about their business model actually is their logistics platform. They have a global logistics platform that actually solves a lot of issues for international shipping. So a lot of their merchants, I believe, are based out of China and places where it's cheaper to manufacture. And there's always the hassle of, do you go on Alibaba and buy something and then wait 6 months for it to show up if you're in the United States? So that's a big thing that Wish has kind of actually helped fix with their logistics. So they manage 90% of products shipped through or like purchased on Wish or shipped through their logistics platform, and of the 90%, 50% of those, Wish handles all the logistics services for it. So they're kind of trying to remove the barrier of international shipping for consumer goods, which has historically been difficult, and it's been, I guess it's been slow and cheap, or it's been expensive and fast, right? So if you're buying an item for $10 from China, right, you don't want to pay $20 in shipping, but if you want to get it in the next week, you need to pay $20 in shipping. Otherwise, it'll show up in 2 or 3 months after it goes through customs. So Wish is kind of trying to help break down that global shipping challenge for consumer products. And the logistics business actually represents about 20% of revenue, so it's about 500 million in 2020, and that is a 275% growth year over year compared to the core business. I think grew 30%. So the logistics business is definitely something to keep an eye on, and something that could, really kind of transform Wish from a an e-commerce platform into a like integrated logistics company that's kind of could be much more valuable to people like Amazon or something if they can really figure out this international shipping problem. Last thing we'll talk about here are just some key growth drivers for Wish. These are mostly what they list in their S1 when they went public. But so obviously users, that's huge for them. They view their core customer as someone that makes less than 75,000. They believe that I think there's 1 billion households around the world if you exclude China and India in this category. Currently, they have 100 million users. So according to them, they have about 10% of their market captured, and 12 million of those are active monthly buyers. So big thing here for them is going to be how do you convert the users into buyers? Is it more content or more products, cheaper products, better algorithms to push products to consumers? So you could have kind of high costs here if you are really kind of focusing on the algorithm approach of how do we get the best products in front of people. You could spend a lot of R&D there. The next one is the merchant base. Currently, they have 550,000 merchants on the platform. They want to expand both the number of merchants and the categories of merchants. I don't think this is as difficult, right? I think they show they have 100 million users. It's probably pretty easy to get merchants that want to sell on Wish, but I think it's going to be more of screening to make sure it's quality merchants, because what you don't want is your marketplace to be flooded with crappy products that turn customers off. So that'll be an interesting challenge for them, but I think it should be easier than acquiring users. The next one, logistics. Obviously, they want to expand their logistics platform and kind of become the cross-border logistics value chain. And I think that this is an interesting thing, and I think it can grow much larger than just Wish, right? Like if they can really figure out this international shipping of consumer products, they could solve a lot of issues and be a very valuable company. So that'll be huge. You could see a lot of R&D going in there as well. But big challenge there is also just with different mail carriers, right? Like, or do they pull an Amazon and start trying to do last mile delivery themselves, or do some like cross global delivery themselves where they have cargo ships going out once a week from China to US, or what? Like, who knows? So that could be an interesting thing. I don't really know too much about the full strategy. Didn't see too much about it in the S1, but definitely something they're focusing on. And then something I didn't really see them mention, but I think is something they're definitely trying to work on. If you look currently, Wish, when you pay on Wish, you can pay through PayPal, Google Wallet, Apple Pay, a bunch of other like third-party integrated, and like they do accept credit cards, but I'm gonna guess it's processed through like a Shopify or something. With the recent board appointments, the executive chairman of Square Financial, and then Stephanie, who was the VP of Global Commerce and Payments at Google, I wouldn't be surprised to see them roll out their own payment platform in the near future. This will allow them to kind of save money from the processing portion of it, and or kind of work as the middleman there, and then they can start taking a cut of the payment processing fees. So I think that may be something they're working on that they didn't specifically state in their S1. So definitely something to keep an eye on and see if they actually do have any more key hires in the payment space. I didn't look at their open job roles. That's another thing to do, to see if they're hiring like a chief payment officer or something. Sometimes companies will post those roles publicly, and it'll give you kind of an insight of the future roadmap. But I think these are just some key things, as you start to do due diligence into Wish, that you need to keep in mind and think about. will definitely be helpful as you try to model out the company. And if you're trying to project their revenue, the logistics revenue is going to be the piece that's really growing, it sounds like. So some things to keep in mind. Hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks so much.